This is a special photo. Through it, you can see the tropical bananas, the subtropical oak forest, even the polar glaciers, the temperate fir, and they were all taken the same location. Medog, Zhejiang. Only in Medog, China, can you gather the extreme landscapes from the poles to the equator, within a horizontal distance of just 50 kilometers. However, such a diverse Medog is an isolated island on the Tibetan plateau. From a bird's eye view, Medog is like a small boat, to this day, solitarily anchored in the southeast corner of the Tibetan plateau. To the north, the towering mountains tightly enclose it. The winding national border restricts the coming and going steps. Not many people can visit Medog. Even if they arrive here in person, they may not necessarily see its full picture. So, what does a complete Medog really look like? What makes it a diverse isolated island? And will it always be lonely? In this video, we will try to answer these questions. But first, we need to go to the highest point of Medog. There, the continuous snow mountains will give its answer. Namjag Barwa, the highest peak of the eastern Himalayas, is like a long spear piercing the sky, and also like a horn, calling out the mountains. The towering Himalayas strike from the northwest, and the cold Kangri Garbo mountain range blocks from the northeast. Even the relatively low mountain passes, the altitude is mostly over 4,000 meters. So, the perennial snow-capped mountains surround Medog layer by layer, making it an island isolated from the hinterland of the Tibetan Pass. The mountains not only created an island, but also created a unique paradise. When the South Asian monsoon carries the water vapor from the Indian Ocean and meets the obstruction of the Himalayas, it turns into rain and snow on the southern foot of the mountain range. Therefore, compared to the arid and desolate areas of most of Zhejiang, Medog, located south of the high mountains, is particularly moist, with an annual precipitation exceeding 2,000 millimeters, even higher than many cities in the south of the Yangtze River like Shanghai and Hangzhou. Abundant precipitation is spread all over the earth in various forms. On the top of the mountain, it is a crystal-like, holy glacier. Between the Himalayas, it is a waterfall pouring from the sky. In the swamps, it is a tranquil and gentle lake, but within the valleys, it is also a freely flowing river. The largest river in Zhejiang, the Zangbo River, also roars past here. Originally it was heading east, but it makes a horseshoe-shaped turn at the foot of Namjag Barwa, then turns south into Medog. The river water continuously erodes along the fragile fault zone, cutting out the longest and deepest canyon in the world, the Zangbo Grand Canyon. It is a natural water vapor channel, along which the warm and humid air from the Indian Ocean can continue to move north, bringing more moisture and heat. Plus, the northern mountains blocking the cold current. It is in Medog that the boundary belonging to the tropics is pushed north by 5 degrees in latitude, and in the vertical direction, the huge height difference of the canyon further enriches the world of the island. Even the 4 seasons forget about time. Distributed spatially throughout Medog, the lowest altitude valley grows the northernmost tropical monsoon forest on Earth. When it's still summer here, the mountain tops are covered with winter snow. Between winter and summer, the subtropical broadleaf forest is in spring bloom. There is also the Bhutan pin known to reach 76.8 meters, equivalent to a 25-story jungle high-rise. The rich environment also breeds a variety of animal species. Even looking at the whole country and even the world, there are very low places like here, where almost all types of feline animals live, such as golden cats, clouded leopards, Bengal tiger, and agile animal like black musk deer, and red gore, always keenly aware of the traces of predators. The unique humidity and unique attitude difference allow 1/5 of China's birds, 1/10 of mammals, and 1/10 of orchid plants to gather here. Many new species are also constantly being discovered here. There is only one Medog in the world. No wonder people describe it with the exaggeration, but Medog has the whole world. For the Tibetan plateau, Medog is an island that encompasses everything. So for humans, what does Medog mean? In Tibetan, Medog means flowers. In the classics of Tibetan Buddhism, Medog is even known as the hidden lotus. However, the closed terrain makes our understanding of Medog very limited. Not until more than a decade after the founding of New China, did the state council confirm the two main ethnic groups of Medog, the Manba and Loba. The Loba are the indigenous people of Medog. Before liberation, they were still living a primitive life of slash and burn agriculture. In their views, heaven and earth, sun and moon, mountains and rivers, plants and trees are all objects of worship. So much so that even daily activities like hunting and farming require divination. The Manba are immigrants who moved here about 200 years ago. They have long interacted with the Tibetans, so most of them believe in Tibetan Buddhism. Not long after moving into Medog, they established the largest local temple, Rinqingbing Temple. Although their beliefs are different, the same environment also allows the Manba and Loba to form some similar living habits. They all love to drink and are good at bamboo weaving. There is always a warm hearth burning. The human world in the island was originally peaceful. Outside the island, some people have long been coveting it. A new boundary appeared out of nowhere on the official map of British India. It meanders along the ridge of the Himalayas, pushing the traditional Sino-Indian customary line north by more than 100 kilometers. Tens of thousands of square kilometers of territory in southern Zhejiang, China, are being stolen, which includes nearly two-thirds of the land of Medog. This is the infamous so-called McMahon Line, and before this only in one so-called official treaty collection, the fake Aitchison Treaties. Why was this line recorded? The book mentions in 1914 at the Simla Conference chaired by British Representative McMahon, a treaty containing the so-called boundary line. The Simla Convention was signed. All of this is a carefully orchestrated trick. During the Simla Conference, the Chinese government representative never formally signed, letting alone demarcated the Sino-India border. Britain, which had long had ulterior motives for later tampered with the conference records and forged a treaty collection, attempting to pull off a daylight robbery to prove the legality of the so-called McMahon line. After this operation, this so-called boundary line began to appear on various foreign maps in a grand manner. So, India, after independence, declared its acceptance of the legacy left by Britain on not only demanding that China recognize the so-called McMahon line, trying to unilaterally mark this legal boundary line from the map to the ground. Ambitious India even crossed the so-called McMahon line and launched an attack on Chinese border troops. Faced with India's repeated provocations, China was forced to carry out a counterattack in self-defense in 1962. Due to considerations of various factors, such as politics and diplomacy. After defeating the Indian army, China voluntarily declared a ceasefire and withdrew. In fact, it was by no means easy to hold onto southern Zhejiang at that time. Taking Medog as an example, the mountains here are high and the valleys are deep, and the terrain is dangerous. But it is in the waist-deep snow, on the trembling single-plank bridge, and in the rainforest dense with poisonous insects, have held on for more than half a century. That generation after generation of Medog officers and soldiers, and 30 officers and soldiers shave forever frozen their lives on the patrol road. The Medog camp station locally is known as the red flag of the island. But Medog cannot always be an island. Its heads to be contested and closely comsetted with the blister-owned of the motherland. You will see many place names with the letter K in Medog, 2 for K, 5 to K, 80K. Every increasing number were originally pile numbers marking mileage when building roads. Under normal circumstances, they don't have much significance, but for Medog is an indelible monument, because to build a road in Medog is really too difficult. The Himalayan region where Medog is located is crisscrossed by enormous fault zones, and also one of the most geologically active areas on Earth. For last 3 million years, the average uplift speed of the Yarlung Zangbo ran perennial earthquakes and make the rocks shatters. Active geological movements lead to frequent earthquakes. Plus abundant rainfall, making disasters like mudslides and landslides one common occurrence. In 1965, the road-building army tried to follow the Yarlung Zangbo River. People tried again to build a road to Medog from Chamoy Town in Bo County further east, to open a road from the northern Paylong Township to Medog. But in the end, they were forced to stop. 10 years later, After spending 800,000 yuan, sacrificing 8 people, and building for kilometers of road. After 5 years, this 141-kilometer-long road had to stop at 106K. In 1993, the next year, the road was declared open, but the rainy season that followed almost destroyed it again. Not until 2013, the first car finally drove into Medog. 3-kilometer-long people came to visit this strange four-wheeled beast as if celebrating a festival. Opened up the Kangri-Garbo mountain range that stretches between Medog and Bo. Avoiding the dangerous sections of winter snow, the last county in Chimi without a road thus became history. Built anew, destroyed again and again. Destroyed and built again and again. Cement bridges replaced the original. The porters unloaded the 10 baskets for loading. Children walked out of the barren mountains, and patients no longer need to endure the pain of long transfers. Medog, a road, connects the two worlds inside and outside the mountain. Finally caught up with the pace of the new century in a stumbling manner. Today, when you walk into Medog County, you will see that the shelves in the supermarket are also filled with a dazzling array of goods. People in the market are also proficient in using mobile phones. Everything you take for granted, tourists from all over the world can also drink a cup of internet-famous milk tea. Is also beginning to basama salmon hers. Of course, just one road is not enough. Changing this place. In the future, there will definitely be more and better roads leading here. This is Medog, a secret place that nourishes more than 5,000 creatures on the Tibetan Plateau, a territory of 31,000 square kilometers in China. It used to be an island, and also the home where 15,000 people in Medog have lived for generations. An island on the plateau besieged by high mountains. A human island coveted by separatists. Bun and snow mountains cannot separate the road of longing. The illegal McMahon line cannot break the connection of blood. And the broken stones cannot wash away the determination to connect.